My first mortgage was an FHA loan, 2% fixed for 30 years and assumable by next purchaser. Okay, fuck your flex, dude. There is always Islamic banking. And yeah, having money greatly improves your chances of building out credit. Like, I'm really fortunate. Like, I'm already a really fucking fortunate person. So I'm not even saying that I'm not in that respect. But if you want it now, then no. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, you got to get... You have to, like, sit there and, like, build out your fucking credit score for, like, a year and a half or 2 years. That's not how FHA works. Been in the industry for years. Come to the Bank of Allah. Dude, I do need that. Anyway, Subnautica after Resident Evil? Probably. I haven't decided what to do yet. The transaction fees that stores are charged for processing credit cards means everything is more expensive. Not buying with a CC means you're paying more in the form of not earning points. One more way that unbanked people get fucked. How is the system in Turkey? Dude, I don't fucking know what the system is in Turkey. It's probably the same as America. Anyway, yeah, banks are haram, dude. Banks are literally fucking haram, brother. They also check your debt to income ratios. The more you are worth, the better your rates are. So if someone working minimum wage will get mega high rates, even if they have a perfect score. Really? Anyway. Are you getting a mortgage? Check if California has a first-time home buyer program. I don't know. They probably do. They everywhere they have first-time home buyer programs. We talked about Andrew Yang last night, but I'm gonna obviously talk about it again. As you already know, shit is popping off in Palestine. Okay, shit's popping off. The occupying Israeli forces have greatly increased the stress, greatly increased the militancy, greatly increased the pressure against the Palestinian people that they subject to untold amounts of cruelty. So the violence is escalating. The media coverage on it has been absolutely dog shit. Like, there is really positive and very weird parts of it, like having legitimate Palestinians talk about their struggles on national television, but that shit is like few and far between. It's not necessarily a popular thing. It's not happening all too frequently. And for the most part, the media is like covering it as the fucking Hamas terrorists want to kill every Israeli, and that's why Israel is like making Hamas hit themselves with their own punches, while screaming, "Why are you hitting yourself?" Like, all of it is like justifying. All of it is justifying the disproportionate warfare that the IDF is engaging in, that the Israeli government is engaging in. Did you see how they rightly so turned on Andrew Yang? Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a second. But I mean, I've always been an Andrew Yang skeptic, as you guys already know. Wait, Hasanabi, you are fine being anti-Semitic? Yes. If you consider the humanity of Palestinians to be an anti-Semitic point of view, then yes, that is anti-Semitism. Stop saying bait. Don't fucking bait with that shit, because there are legitimately, every time I talk about this, there's like motherfuckers who've been in here who have never heard me talk about Palestine, who will then turn around and be like, wow, I've been in this community for 4 months, and I've literally, like, I'm a 4-month subscriber, been in here for like 6-7 months. I can't believe how anti-Semitic you are. And it's fucking nuts. Of course, Arabs are Semitic as well, but, you know, that's a semantic conversation that we're not going to get into. Even fucking like mega Zionists are upset with the actions of Israel, or at the very least, they're like embarrassed to be defending Israel unconditionally at a time like this. But Andrew Yang is not one of those people. Andrew Yang is the type of person who's like, I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, I am trying to fucking bring over the ultra orthodox, ultra fucking far right, ultra nationalist, and very insulated Hasidic Jewish community in New York as a voting bloc to vote for me as mayor. Straight up. Straight the fuck up. That's precisely what he's doing here with this kind of argument. That's why the other guy that is also running for mayor in New York, I forget the black dude, he also had a similar sentiment expressed where in the aftermath of like Israel, literally 20 minutes had gone by after Israel bombed Gaza, okay? Because like six rockets that were all intercepted, of course, by the incredible Iron Dome system, which I've talked about already. Yesterday, rockets were fired from Gaza into Israel, intercepted by Iron Dome. Okay. And then Israel retaliated by bombing the absolute living fuck out of Gaza and murdering 20 people. 9 of them are said to be children. Okay. 9 children were killed. 20 minutes after that happened, Andrew Yang literally tweeted this out. I'm standing with the people of Israel who are coming under bombardment attacks and condemn the Hamas terrorists. The people of New York City will always stand with our brothers and sisters in Israel who face down terrorism and persevere. So I realize you knew approximately 0 New York Jews until about 6 months ago, but I promise you not all of us feel this way. Of course, there are plenty of very progressive New York Jews who are incredibly upset, incredibly offended, incredibly mad, rightfully so, about this fucking take, because not all Jews stand unconditionally with Israel, obviously. But he is not going for the rest of the Jewish New Yorker population. He doesn't care about the fucking progressive people and their approach to this, even though there are plenty of liberals who also stand unconditionally with Israel. He is trying to go after a very specific voting bloc. Okay? No, at the time, the rockets had not gone through. More rockets were fired since then, and 2 Israeli people were killed as a consequence of that. Yes, key lime platypus. But at the time, no Israelis had been killed. I'm talking about yesterday, okay? Yesterday. They had originally intercepted all of the rockets. Like, Andrew Yang doesn't know that, okay? He doesn't fucking see into the future. The only information available when Andrew Yang tweeted this out was that Israel had bombed Gaza and 20 people had died. 9 of them were reported to be children. Okay? But is that voting bloc he's targeting big enough for him to win? It's a pretty sizable voting bloc. So, I don't know. Anyway, oh God, I got to move away from this credit rate shit. Sami Zayn said, maybe not the most tasteful statement to make within hours of Israel bombing Gaza and killing 20 Palestinians, 9 of whom were children. But then again, I'm not a soulless piece of shit politician, so what do I know? Fucking absolute king, WWE's very own Sami Zayn from the fucking top rope, cumstering and dumpstering Andrew Yang. Incredible fucking take. Why is it shocking that Andrew Yang would sim for Israeli war crimes? It's not shocking. None of this is shocking to me. I know that Andrew Yang is a soulless husk and a neoliberal cutout with one unique idea, which happens to be universal basic income, which he also had a very right-wing approach to. Okay? He wanted to use universal basic income as a replacement to social safety nets. And that inherently is a right-wing idea. And nobody wanted to believe me. And everybody said I was fucking wrong. Okay? And Andrew Yang then, of course, subsequently got endorsed by some of the worst demons on the fucking planet, from Trump's very own white nationalist immigration policy advisor, Stephen Miller, who said Andrew Yang is exactly right and Ilhan Omar is outrageously wrong. Ian Miles Wrong, America's most notorious Malaysian broadcaster, said based in all caps. Meghan McCain, America's most notorious failed daughter, said hashtag Yang Gang. And Ted Cruz, I don't really have a notorious thing to say about Ted Cruz. I am just constantly astonished that literally a demon, a melted wax candle, evangelical hobgoblin can live among us every day, and not a single person goes, hold on, that's not a human, that's Ted Cruz. Very strange. But Ted Cruz said, bravo to Yang for opposing the rabidly pro-Hamas and anti-Israel attacks from fellow dames Omar and Tlaib. That's what Ted Cruz said. Yeah, I would normally give you a trigger warning for Ted Cruz, but you can't really tell the booger-eating demon and what he looks like from over here. Why does his take on Israel matter? He's not running for president anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just like, even if you find out your friend in the aftermath of such a horrific fucking act of aggression, if your friend literally turns around and is like, oh yeah, no, that's pretty poggers, dude. I fucking don't think that Palestinians are human beings. You'd probably be like, kind of fucked up. But he's literally running for mayor, so that also is kind of significant. Okay? Check out this banger tweet from Stop Anti-Semitism. Work at the Onion and know who tweeted this. DM us for a prize. You can stay anonymous. IDF soldier recounts harrowing heroic war story of killing 8-month-old child. Oh my God, dude. Stop Anti-Semitism is working overtime to stop anti-Semitism, dude. Wow. It's really anti-Semitic to say that, to make fun of the IDF murdering kids. It's also anti-Semitic to fucking criticize that. You are being really anti-Semitic right now. I mean, come on, dude. You are doing harm, untold amounts of harm to your own cause if you legitimately care about fucking anti-Semitism, when you literally conflate criticisms, legitimate criticisms of the Israeli government with Jewish people as a whole. Okay? That is insane. That's how you get dipshit Nazis to turn around and be like, actually, we're just criticizing Israel, when they're literally anti-Semitic and they're just hiding behind criticisms of Israel. To be crystal clear, I'm not against Israel or Palestine. Needless to say, I'm against any form of violence or oppression from anyone or any part. And again, it is devastating to follow the developments in Israel and Palestine. This is great. Jabuki, you have 1 hour to delete this. Yeah, oh my God, Greta Thunberg is a fucking neoliberal cutout, dude. That's crazy. I thought someone who professionally travels to like every fucking Davos summit and like talks to billionaires and millionaires was going to have a notoriously wishy-washy take on this. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Still a better take than Yang Gang over here, but you know. Anyway, great. I'm Palestinian. I can't comprehend how everyone's okay with Israel. I guess people are okay with occupation now. Yes, they are. And the reason why they are okay with occupation is because of who they are occupying. If they are occupying a bunch of fucking Muslims that have never had that have never had solid allegiances with the other Gulf regions and other Muslim nations in that area, then no one gives a fuck. And I mean it. Like, absolutely zero people give a single shit about Palestinian people and the struggle that Palestinian people have to face on a daily basis. Now, the issue here, of course, is that, what is this? Andrew Yang is confronted by a story by a passerby upset over his pro-Israel tweet. He calls conflict in the Middle East heartbreaking, but doesn't condemn Israeli airstrikes.
So that, what do you have to say about your tweet directly to New Yorkers right now?
Oh my God, that is the most New York fucking... Yo, she is so... Yo, what do you got to say about New York? Dead ass. Right now. Dead ass. Tell me about your fucking tweet, Yang. Tell me about your fucking tweet, Yang. Dead ass. I'll fuck you up right now. What do you got to say?
It's heartbreaking, but it is. condemn Israel for that?
Good audio. Italian New Yorker saying dead ass.
To say about your tweet directly to New Yorkers right now.
It's heartbreaking. All of this is happening in the Middle East.
It's heartbreaking, bro.
It is. People are dying.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, dude. Gulf Arabs, Pepe Spit abandoning their brothers and sisters so they can lick American ass even more than they already do. Yeah, I mean, Simply Turk. Check Yair Netanyahu's Twitter and IG. Half of his damn posts are anti-Turkish propaganda because Turkey condemned Israel. Dude, I'm just excited that Yair Netanyahu isn't literally fucking Groyper posting. Okay, great. Yeah, who cares? He's literal fucking freak, dude. Netanyahu's son, Yair Netanyahu, took time out from his regular posting of like Jewish puppet master photos and shit like that, which is literally the most anti-Semitic thing you can do. Okay, I mean, aside from drawing a swastika on a synagogue, like straight up being like Jews control everything and they're the puppet masters is one of the most anti-Semitic conspiracies that has haunted the international Jewish community for centuries. And here is Bibi Netanyahu's son, Bibi Netanyahu, famous Holocaust revisionist, of course, is literally posting that shit on the main. Okay? He's always been a fucking dipshit. So it's not surprising.
Do you condemn Israel for that? Do you condemn Israel for their unjust acts against the innocent Palestinians? Sir, I'm talking to him.
We got the publicist over here. We got
I'm
the guy
talking
over
to
here
him.
saying,
We gotta go.
don't say anything
Sir,
that's
you're
gonna fuck up
touching
your
me. Please
campaign.
don't
And
touch
that's
me.
why you don't have my vote, and I guarantee you don't have the vote of a lot of New Yorkers.
I'm telling you that she's so New York, dude. Ilhan Omar is being smeared by far-right and liberal pro-Israel creeps for standing with Palestinians against the Israeli apartheid state. Norman Finkelstein, son of Holocaust survivors, gave the perfect response to the cynical weaponization of anti-Semitism in defense of Israel.
I don't respect that anymore. I really don't. I don't like and I don't respect
Hold on.
the crocodile tears.
Also, before we watch the video, it's a famous video. We'll watch in a second. But before we do that, it is top of the fucking hour, boys. Okay, I'm sorry. It's top of the fucking hour, and we got to run a 60-second ad break here, okay? You already know what the deal is. I forgot to run it in the beginning of the hour, so I'm going to run it right now. Okay? I'm going to run it right now. If you like to no longer see the ads, you can subscribe. You can do it for $5. You can subscribe for free. Or Palestinians out to be the villains in every fucking story that they just straight up went. They just straight up went and just said it. I'm from Israel and I'm curious, what do you want Israel to do about the rockets? Dude, Iron Dome it up, baby. 100%. And here's another way to fucking avoid the creation of additional fucking militants. Okay? It's the same take I always have, so it's not going to be shocking to most people. Stop fucking bombing neighborhoods, dog. Okay? Iron Dome it up all the fucking way. Stop bombing neighborhoods. And also, no longer continue to have Gaza operate like the world's largest open-air prison. Okay? Because every time you kill a fucking baby in Gaza, you will create 10 more militants that want to fight against Israel. Okay? And I can't even sit here and be like, that's wrong. What would you do? What the fuck would you do if your spawn point is fucking Gaza and your entire family has been fucking eviscerated? Okay? Why wouldn't you fucking hate this government that is doing untold amounts of cruelty to you? Why would you fucking turn around and be like, no, I actually love the fact that they fucking yeeted my baby cousin inside of her crib in her fucking apartment? Why? Like, why would you expect them to literally turn around and be like, no, I'm gonna be reasonable about this? It is literally the reasonable thing. These people have no other option. It's not like they have a fucking bright future ahead. They have no infrastructure. They have no fucking robust education system. They have nothing. They have nothing. They're already in the corner and you're still slapping them around. What do you expect? Noam Chomsky said this, and I will repeat it. It's a great fucking take, but unlike the South African apartheid, where black people were needed, the Israelis don't even want the Palestinians. Like, they don't even want to enslave the Palestinians. They just want them to go away. They want to murder them. They want to displace them. And they are successfully doing so, slowly but surely. Okay? That's the difference. And I'm not saying that, like, you know, the South African apartheid was good. Obviously, there's other, there is a tremendous amount of pain and cruelty within the apartheid system in South Africa. So terrorism, shaking my head, do better. Shut the fuck up. I'm not fucking condoning lobbing missiles into Israel either, you fucking idiot. But you have to recognize that in, like, there is no other opportunity. Even, okay, if you don't understand my point of view, before we get to this video, let's watch that video from the State Department again. Let's watch that. Hold on. And maybe you'll get a better appreciation for the Palestinian side when the American government is, like, trying to say, no, we're going to give unconditional support to Israel and aid to Israel in this time, in the time of need, right? Here it is, dude. Here it is. Here are the reporters pressing U.S. State Department on Palestinian right to self-defense. Let's hear. Do Palestinians have a right to self-defense? What does Ned Price, the U.S. State Department spokesperson, have to say about this?
Of self-defense.
I'm asking if you think that the principle of self-defense applies to the retaliatory, the airstrikes that they're conducting in response.
Matt, this is a very fluid situation. I would hesitate to comment on operations beyond, the rocket fire that is clearly targeting innocent civilians in Israel. So I would hesitate to speak to specific operations that have just occurred. But the broader principle of self-defense is something we stand by on behalf of Israel and every other country.
Do you think that an Israeli military response to the rockets coming in, a military response?
Syrian Gamer 1, are you really advocating for violence? Do you not understand the concept that we're talking about right now? Don't ask me why this happens or how to fucking solve it if you don't like the answers I'm giving you. Okay? I'm not advocating for violence, you dumb fuck. The Iron Dome is one of the world's greatest fucking defense systems where any sort of fucking rocket fire coming in will be intercepted by Israeli surface-to-air missiles and blown up when it's in the air. It's great. It's a wonderful technological feat. I agree, and I think it's a good thing. I'm glad that countries have it.
Response to the rockets coming in is covered by this broader rubric of self-defense, right?
Self-defense often does authorize the use of force.
Thank you, Ned. I want to ask you about East Jerusalem, but let's talk about what you said about the principle of self-defense. Does that in any way apply to the Palestinians? Do they have a right to self-defense? Do Palestinians have a right to self-defense?
In broadly speaking, Saeed, we believe in the concept of self-defense. We believe it applies to any state. I don't think that I certainly wouldn't want my words to be construed as.
I understand. I want to ask you on Israel. I don't want to harp on this either, but the Israelis killed 13 people just now, including maybe 5 or 6 children. Do you condemn?
The Iron Dome is only 90% effective, and 2 Israelis have died as well as a consequence of some of the strikes penetrating through the Iron Dome.
Do you condemn the killing of children?
Saeed,
this is really important. I want you to understand, he's saying, so what's up? If Israel has a right to self-defense, then what about Palestinians? Do Palestinians also have a right to self-defense?
I don't think that I certainly wouldn't want my words to be construed as.
I understand. I want to ask you on Israel. I don't want to harp on this either, but the Israelis killed 13 people just now, including maybe 5 or 6 children. Do you condemn that? Do you condemn the killing of children?
Saeed,
I'm asking. Do you?
I love the American State Department because your spokesperson cannot say, I condemn the killing of children. Well, also, the American military also kills children too. So that's, but those kids are brown and they're Muslim. So it doesn't fucking matter.
Do you condemn the killing of Palestinian children?
Obviously, and these reports are just emerging, and I understand, I was just speaking to the team, I understand we don't have independent confirmation of facts on the ground yet, so I'm very hesitant to get into reports that are just emerging. Obviously, the deaths of civilians, be they Israeli or Palestinians, are something we would take very seriously.
Okay.
You're going to know as soon as I read what your answer was that there's a big problem with it. You said, well, not a problem, it just doesn't answer the question. We believe that it, meaning the right to self-defense, applies to any state. Well, you see the problem, right? Yes?
Do you want to?
Do you regard Palestine as a state?
I wasn't
Do you
referring.
think that, you
But
don't in the context of.
If rockets were fired at U.S. from homes, do you expect the U.S. not to retaliate? Great question, my friend. The difference there is that the United States would be fucking retaliating against California, okay? Imagine if every other state, with the exception of Texas, had this incredible fucking defense system, and the dumbasses over at Texas, some of the dumbasses over at Texas, because you have friends and family in Texas, they're still human beings in Texas, okay? Some of the dumbasses in Texas decide to fucking lob rockets when we have occupied Texas at this point. We've surrounded Texas on all parts. Nothing goes in, nothing goes out. Every single Texan is now treated as a second-class citizen, not a fucking real human being, devoid of any fucking human rights whatsoever. Texas is now the world's largest open-air prison, okay? And they choose to retaliate against American actions because, they're going to church on Sunday, okay? They're going to church on Easter gathering, and we decide to fucking lob gas canisters in their fucking church and push them out as we slowly, in America, are taking different parts of Texas and literally fucking separating Texans from their homes, putting them in fucking camps, putting them in fucking jails just for the crime of being a Texan and for the crime of being a fucking citizen, okay? We're literally paving through their network of homes, literally systematically fucking pushing each Texan home away from one another and settling real American citizens inside of Texas. And then those Texans fucking retaliate when on Easter Sunday, their church gets fucking bombed. Okay. Those rockets nearly all of them are intercepted. And then we turn around and we bomb the fuck out of Texas and kill a bunch of Texan babies. That is a better comparison. And even then I can't begin to describe how fucking horrific what Israel has been doing for the longest time is, okay? Jesus Christ. What's funny is a bill to vote to secede text from the union almost made it to the state house floor and was only tabled yesterday in the Texas legislature. Oh, great. Sounds like you're describing what we did to the Native Americans. It is what we did to the Native Americans, and it was considered genocide, and it is considered genocide, just like what Israel is doing is fucking genocide too. Straight up. So to try to like oversimplify things and make it seem as though like there are bad people and they just decided to be bad out of nowhere and are just fucking lobbing missiles into Israel for no fucking reason is psychotic. Yes, Hamas is bad. Okay, I'm not the type of person who's going to be like, oh my god, the Hamas's existence is purely justifiable. But you have to understand that like Hamas's existence is great for Israel. Okay, it's fucking great for the Israeli government. It's literally a gift to the Israeli government. But look no further than the fucking West Bank and the treatment of Palestinians in the West Bank to recognize that it doesn't matter. There doesn't need to be a violent reaction for Israel to decide to fuck you over. Okay? If Israel was purely engaging in a proportional response, they wouldn't bomb the fuck out of buildings with little kids in them. Okay? And then try to justify it by saying Hamas uses fucking little kids as a meat shield. Dog, you literally do not comprehend what you're saying. You are basically admitting to not humanizing that fucking Palestinian child when you say it's a meat shield. Motherfucker, it's only a meat shield when that kid dies. And that kid dies in your hands, okay? You're killing them and then saying, oh, they're fucking meat shields. GG's, boys. Shouldn't have fucking stepped in the way. Okay? What you have here is a fucking religious fundamentalist, conservative group of Muslims engaging in any fucking action they can to I guess, defend themselves or retaliate in a violent manner, okay, against a government, a state that is significantly more powerful than them, but also incredibly fucking religious and fundamentalist and interested in bloodshed and ethnic cleansing, okay? So you have two fucking conservatives warring against one another. One conservative militant group has nothing, like literally nothing. They have nothing, dude. They're dog shit. They have nothing. The other side has everything and does not demonstrate the seriousness and the responsibility that comes with having sovereignty in a region like that. Anyway, but there's also the other side of this equation that I neglect to mention, which is that, the IDF posts a lot and there's cute IDF soldiers and they look great in their military garb. And also they have vegan food options and they're very gay. I don't know. Listen, if you're doing genocide, but it's intersectional, think about that for a second.
To the ICC and the UN. So are you saying that you do not, if it applies to any state, are you saying that Palestinians don't have a right to self-determination?
Yeah.
I was making a broader point.
Yes, he's trying to say that the right to self-determine or the right to self-defense is only given to states, and Palestine is not a state. That's the fucking real Weasley answer. Okay, that's what he's trying to say here.
Not attached to Israel or the Palestinians in that case.
So they do have a right to self-defense.
Matt, I'm not in a position to debate the legalities from up here. What our message is one of de-escalation.
All right.
We're speaking.
Anyway, not Weasley, it's dehumanizing. Have you seen the recent attacks on TLV? No. I have not. All right.
Well,
but like, none of this is shocking, okay? And as I said, and I earlier brought this up, but like, the militant actions of Hamas is a fucking gift to the incredibly reactionary, right-wing, ultra-nationalist, fascist fucking Israelis in the Israeli government, because then they can further justify the untold amounts of bloodshed that they will subject all Palestinians to. It is the 1350 of fucking Israel, okay? That's what it is. In America, psychopathic white supremacist reactionary Republicans will say, well, 13% of the population is black, but they're responsible for 50% of the crime. It's like, no, motherfucker. It's first of all, we're not even examining why those conditions have been created where violent crime occurs or crime in general occurs or what crime is. But even beyond that point, like, you're basically trying to post hoc rationalize subjecting an entire group of people to cruelty and punishments for the actions of a few. Okay, you're looking at Palestinians as a monolithic structure, and that is just on its face. That's bigotry. That's it. That's all it is. You cannot justify fucking over every Palestinian person because of the actions of a fucking few. All right?
they started. Well, Mohammed
And again, Israel does not need Hamas to subject Palestinians to untold amounts of cruelty. I'm sorry to all the people that have been blinded by propaganda all these fucking years. But like I said time and time again, literally look no further. Literally look no further than... God damn it, dude. Fucking idiotic Nazis, dude. Just literally, dude. If you're a Nazi, I can't say stuff because I feel like it's terms of service to say a Nazi should, find the tallest bridge that they can. So I'm not going to say anything in a video game. So I'm not going to say anything, but I do have a lot of opinions about what Nazis should do to themselves. Anyway. In Wolfenstein, yeah, the things that idiotic, moronic, fucking anti-Semitic Nazis should do is just listen, follow your great leader Hitler, right? Just follow his, just follow what he did.
Joins me now from Shekhara. Thank you very much for joining us. You grew up in the neighborhood. Your family home is
specifically his last action
slated for eviction. What is the scene right now?
Well, I thank you so much for having me. To start, it's not really an eviction. It's forced ethnic displacement, to be accurate, because an eviction implies legal authority. While the Israeli occupation has no legitimate jurisdiction over the eastern parts of occupied Jerusalem under international law, it also implies the presence of a landlord, and certainly these Israeli settlers have not built our homes. They're not our landlords. They don't own our land. And thirdly, eviction does not imply the hundreds and hundreds of heavily armed police and army and settlers for looting, blowing up your doors, throwing your children from your windows, and using brute force to throw you out in the street and assaulting and arrest you should you resist. It doesn't imply the grenades, it doesn't imply the rubber-coated bullets. It's not an eviction. According to the UN and countless politicians and human rights organizations, it could amount to war crimes. Actually, the situation is pretty tense, I can tell you, and we're very scared of losing our homes to Israeli settler organizations.
These settlers and courts would argue that their claims to the land predates you and your family. Have you been allowed to prove otherwise?
No, the Israeli occupation courts take their documents without verification, without authentication or challenge, whereas our documents will not be looked at.
It's so strange that like the Israeli military courts with a 90% conviction rate are not going to be the safe harbor that the Westerners assume it will be, the fair and judicious process for the Palestinians who are literally being taken away from their fucking homes because some dude from fucking Brooklyn decided that if he doesn't steal it, someone else will. And what I'm referencing is that famous video that went viral a week ago, and that video actually features Mohammed El Kurd's sister, whose home was taken away from this dude named Yaqub from Brooklyn, who literally straight up says, if I don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it. I'm sorry, it's not my fault.
They will not be taken into consideration. Besides, just because something is technically legal does not mean it's ethical or moral or historically just or accurate or correct. We've seen many systems exploit the law and exploit the judiciary to uphold supremacist and racist lives.
You've written very powerfully.
And Palestinians do not want to leave that area. I'm not saying that they can, but what do they get away, or do they want to stay in their land? What are the reasons that they can coexist with the one-state Muslims, Jewish? I'm just trying to understand it a bit better. My friend, like, if you have lived in a fucking house your entire life, and then just someone comes in and says, nah, this is my house now, and the government and the military that has, like, occupied your region for the longest time is like, yeah, no, it's not your house. Where are you supposed to go? Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, listen, people have brought up so many different, like, ideas or whatever, but it's not like Palestinians have an option. Their only option is to die, motherfucker. That's it. If your goal is to displace and ethnically cleanse an area and remove a group of people from that area, then your literal only option is to die. And this is something that people don't understand. This is something that people refuse to comprehend. Like, there is no just move to fucking Tel Aviv, dog. What are you doing in Jerusalem? Like you think these people are just like, oh no, there's much better real estate. Please, sir, come and move into this, come and settle into this new house. Like, it doesn't work that way. They're like, get the fuck out of here, and I hope you retaliate so we can kill you. Okay? That's how it works. It's fucking ethnic cleansing. Like, it's like asking a Jewish person in the lead up stage of the Holocaust, they'll be like, well, why are you guys trying to stay in Germany anyway? Like, I don't understand. I mean, can't you just like move to a different part of Germany? Just move to Poland, forehead. It's literally like the same shit. Come on, it's illegal, dude. I don't understand. It's just literally illegal now. Oops, sorry.
Quote,
only allowed because both the state and the settlers know they have impunity. The settlers are emboldened by an apartheid state that allows them to open carry in Palestinian neighborhoods, and the state is emboldened by an international community that refuses to call it out for what it is, that allows it to intentionally target civilian neighborhoods in the Gaza Strip and massacre 24 Palestinians, including 9 children, without facing any consequences. I don't expect much of the Biden administration. Knowing that Ned Price refused to even condemn the killing of 9 Palestinian children tells me all I need to know. Obviously, I would like the international community to hold Israel accountable under international law. I also hope free people of the world do their part to push their governments.
Do you support the protests, the violent protests that have erupted in solidarity with you and other families in your position right now?
Do you support the violent dispossession of me and my family?
Do you support the...
Jesus Christ, what does she say to that? I want to know what her fucking answer was to that. I'm still thinking, yeah, it's Mondo Weiss, by the way, so I don't know how fucking credible Mondo Weiss is, but yeah. Israel demands correction from Sanders. It killed only 532 Palestinian children in the summer of 2014. Like, I know it's a real article. I just don't know. It's Ann Baevsky, who is on, like, an international human rights lawyer, professor, and activist. Basically said that when Bernie Sanders said, like, Israel has killed 10,000 children, or Israel had killed 10,000, Washington Post was enraged by, like, this article is just, like, full of fucking like random instances of, like, neocons and I know it's a I know it is I'm an IDF soldier. It's disappointing to see an intellectual like you saying these things based on things you hear and see on social media without actually being there and seeing the facts. Try understanding the other side for once. Love and peace, everybody. This better fucking say, like, you must defeat the nameless king in Hebrew, motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here. Hey, listen, if fucking IDF homies are wasting their time in here watching me, that means they're not fucking sniping fucking kids. So that's good. I'd rather have the IDF soldiers watch me than, you know, wipe out another block in fucking Gaza, okay? Anyway. Shit translation is absolutely fake. He said you want peace. Haas, you are an idiot. Yeah, well, I mean, if you want fucking peace, there's one good option to do so. Stop fucking bombing. Stop murdering Palestinians. Stop displacing Palestinians. End the fucking occupation. Create a fair and ethical system where Palestinians and Jews and Israelis and Arabs and everyone in that region can fucking peacefully coexist. It's not going to happen. It's a ridiculous fucking assumption. The only way that, yeah, also the dumbest thing he said wasn't, I just want peace. The dumbest thing he said was, Hasanabi is an intellectual. I watch you as an intellectual. I'm not an intellectual. Anyway.
They are saying, the spokesperson for the State Department is saying today that you have a right to safety and security while Israel has a right to self-defense. What do you say to U.S. officials in the international community?
The United States has waged more wars than there are Hamas members. I don't wait for the United States to tell me what constitutes as self-defense and what not constitutes as self-defense. That is not where my moral compass stems from. I don't think the United States is in position, giving all of the genocides and wars it's partaking in, to say something about who has a right to self-defense. What I know is that a military occupation that we're living in is excruciatingly violent. A siege that we're living under is excruciatingly violent, and that is the aggressor. as the occupier, that's what started all. That's fundamentally what started the so-called conflict.
All right, Mohammed Al-Kurd live for us in Sheikh Jarrah in East Jerusalem. Mohammed.
Anyway, Palestinian elections got canceled a week ago because Fatah, who was getting butt fucked by Israel, is scared of losing to someone who can actually represent our voices. Do you think people are becoming aware of the issues, or are we extremely online? No. I think that, I mean, here, it's fucking linked to one another here. Okay. Bibi Netanyahu is a militant, corrupt piece of shit, okay? And he has shifted the Overton window over the course of his reign over Israel to a really, really violent conflict. Every time there's any sort of pressure, you want to improve your fucking approval ratings, you know, go ahead, unleash the fucking IDF on the settlements, and then and go in and expand your territory in the West Bank, and then when there's retaliation, when there's inevitable retaliation from Gaza, then murder a bunch of people in Gaza, and then you're good. Everyone's gonna fucking forget because now everyone is fucking terrified that there's gonna be a bomb that blows up on top of their heads. Okay? And it was like that even before Netanyahu as well, but Netanyahu's administration has like greatly fucking they've turned us into a goddamn mathematical equation. So with Trump's devastating move of legitimizing like Israel's stake on Jerusalem by moving the American embassy to Jerusalem, and that's why he's like loved by so many reactionary shitheads in Israel and also reactionary shitheads in America for the same reason. In the aftermath of all that, and with no condemnation seemingly from the Joe Biden administration, and Joe Biden administration like literally saying, we're not going to do shit to Israel, chill the fuck out, come on, we love Israel. They have decided, or Netanyahu has decided, with the threat of a looming corruption trial ahead of him, that he is going to greatly increase the pressure. Okay? That's it. I mean, guys, these motherfuckers literally, dude, they went and they killed a nuclear scientist on, was it in Iraq or was it on Iranian soil too? Like, there's no hiding. Like, they're just straight up like, nah, we're gonna fucking kill you. It doesn't matter if you're like literally a fucking nuclear scientist. Like, it literally doesn't matter. We will find you, we'll come to you, and we'll fucking kill you, okay? Like, there is nothing. There's no stopping. There's no like scale this shit back. It was in Iraq, but it wasn't Iranian. Yeah. And Hamas's existence is seen as a legitimizing force for Israel's unspeakable cruelty. And even if, nice confirmation bias, my friend, and even if Hamas didn't fucking exist, even if Gaza didn't have like Teflon made fucking rockets they lob over from their buildings, from their destroyed buildings over on Israeli territory, Israel would still subject Palestinians to unjustifiable cruelty, as they have literally done so over and over again. Like I said, look no further than what is happening in the West Bank and the settler terrorism that Israel has engaged in, and how Israel's response, or rather treatment of people who are engaging in an act of terror, displacement of Palestinians, the indigenous population that has like lived there from their homes, and how they went from looking the other way to literally supporting it over the course of like the past 10 fucking years. Okay? So they don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter. You don't have to fight back for Israel to behave the way that it does. Okay? Israel is also engaged in an act of territorial expansion beyond the West Bank as well, with the territorial expansion on Syrian soil with Golan Heights. And they do so because no matter how much the UN fucking finger wags at Israel, it does not fucking matter because they can get away with it because America will always back them. Anyway. No, the general was in Iraq. General Soleimani was in Iraq. The scientist was, I think, on Iranian soil.